rolling it really quick. Let me check the sound. Do you mind saying, counting to 10?
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's working.
Okay.
And then also, do you mind just doing a clap for me by your face? Okay, one more time. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Please state your name, title, and company.
Karen Garvin, AHT Insurance, Sales Executive for Property and Casualty Insurance. Okay, can we stop for just 1 second? I can usually remember 2 things at a time, not 3. So I'm supposed to say my name, my company, and my role? Okay.
Name, title, and company.
Name, title, and company.
And then
Okay.
clap again as well, if you're okay.
Oh, you want, I'm sorry? Oh, you want me to, okay,
Awesome.
okay.
Please state your name, title, and company.
My name is Karen Garvin. I'm a sales producer for AHT Insurance.
Talk about your involvement in the community outside of work responsibilities, activities, or any activities that advance your career.
My involvement in the community is, gosh, can we stop for a second?
Yeah.
How long do I have to talk? Because my problem is, and I think you probably see, I do a lot of stuff. So
I would choose a few things that are probably like the ones that you've done more recently.
Yeah,
or
maybe if you want to like list the thing, like I've been involved with these 5 organizations, but most recently, or where I spend most of my time is, maybe 2 or 3 of them, or however many, in that way.
Because I think it's
Okay.
important that they do know the scope, but obviously you can't sit here and talk about every single
no, and I
So
don't want
would-
to.
I
Yeah.
would just keep it, like a short list, and then maybe go into like a little bit of detail about the ones, like Kate said, that are more recent. Or
Okay.
Or
that
where
you
you
spend
made the
more
most
time.
impact,
Yeah.
Then let me ask you a question. Are you going to ask me why I do what I do?
Okay, so sort of. So we'll ask, we'll ask you why. We'll ask you, what's your passion, what brought you to do the things that you do. But also we'll go into which ones have you been most involved with, and who you've impacted. But that's really the only question that really asks you about everything that you do. And you might repeat yourself, and that's okay. That there's going to be some overlap. So I think that this question is really just trying to get a full scope, but obviously within a few minutes.
Okay, because I kind of where I'm at started because of why I do what I do. So I was maybe I can start with that, and then so would it be if I said something like the reason I do what I do, and just kind of start from that?
I think that that's more the passion.
Okay.
Is more the answer to the passion, do you think? And
Is it the reason why I got involved?
Yeah.
Right? Is that for you to think, how did you get involved, and then kind of start your story from the beginning?
Yeah.
That's going to lead you to where you are today.
Yeah, I think that's okay because it's talk about your involvement in the community. So
Okay.
you can start wherever you want. If you need to go backwards, however. you
Yeah,
want
because
to
it
do
definitely
to tell a
started
story,
with
that's fine.
the inspiration of
Do you want
kind
to
of.
just ask your question first?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that would be better.
We should do
So
that.
Okay.
second to last question.
Mhm.
Last question is just what else do you want us to know? But the second to last question is, what has been the pivotal moment that
Okay.
got you involved with community engagement? Like,
Okay.
what was that pivotal moment?
So
maybe
is that more helpful if we just start with
Yes,
that one?
because I have
Go
2
from-
pivotal moments, and they kind of led me to do what I
That'll get
do.
you talking.
Right.
All right. I think
Okay.
that's good. Oh,
Okay. So is it okay if I hold
Oh,
something
sorry, I
up
shocked
while
you.
I'm talking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to hold it the whole time?
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
so
want to
that's fine.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
And just so
Okay.
you know, the camera's only catching from here on up.
That's what I wanted to know. Like, I'm not, like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I'll only
Okay.
show it for a second. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Do you need to do the clap again?
Oh, no, you're
Okay.
good. The wire keeps slipping.
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay. So I'm going to start with what inspires me, right? What?
Your pivotal
Your
moment.
pivotal moment.
Okay,
I'll ask it
okay,
again.
okay.
All right. But we'll
Sorry, I
start
told.
with- Should we start with the name and title again?
We got it.
You got that?
Okay.
Okay.
We can move on.
Okay. So what would you say was the pivotal moment that got you engaged in your community involvement?
I can say I actually had two pivotal moments that really led me to be where I am today and do the things I do for the community. The first was the birth of my nephew, who was a severely premature twin who had many, many issues, one of which he had CMV, he had a premature bowel. He spent the first 2.5 years of his life in intensive care. I actually carry his sock with me every day in my purse. And I vowed, the first time I saw Isaac, he was so swollen with infection that he couldn't even be touched. And I didn't even know what to pray at that point. You know, you look at a baby and you see him suffering so much and you just don't even know what to pray. I never felt so helpless. You know, I thought all the success I'd had in my life and all my determination was really going to do nothing at that point. I felt very helpless, but I also vowed that I was not going to let that baby's suffering go in vain, and I was going to do things outside myself. 6 months later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And every radiation treatment I went through, I carried Isaac's sock with me. And I was going to be a big girl, and I wasn't going to complain and not be scared. I knew God had a plan for me. I then decided, I was 45, breast cancer, 3 children. Then my question became, what's my impact going to be on the world? If this is something that came out of the blue, again, made me feel very powerless, I decided at that moment to start really thinking outside of myself and thinking what kind of impact I could leave on the world. My youngest daughter started a Relay for Life team in my honor, and that was the first kind of charity that I got involved with, and it was fun because I could do it with my daughter and her friends, and then I really just became open to what is there out there for me to do, and I opened my heart and I opened my eyes, more importantly, to really start looking in the community as to where I could be helpful. I've been doing property and casualty insurance for 30 years in this area, and so I had a lot of business contacts. And I started really, instead of telling them about what their insurance needs were, I started really listening about what are your problems? How can I help you? And one of the biggest, I found that there was a real disconnect between the for-profit world and the nonprofit world. So I started listening, and what started my journey with the thing I'm really spending most of my time on now, we did a toy drive for a homeless shelter in Manassas. And we dropped off toys for all the children. I handmade scarves for all of the moms because I wanted them to have something personal that somebody had given them. And kind of on our way out, I looked and I thought, well, gosh, their parking lot's in terrible condition. And I really wanted them to feel like they were being embraced by the community. So I am a member of Heavy Construction Contractors Association, and I went to them and I asked them if they would consider donating a new parking lot to this transitional housing project. It's called The Barn. And after about 400 phone calls and a lot of visits, my wonderful guys agreed to pave the parking lot as a donation. Really changed the way they viewed social service, which was wonderful, and all of a sudden it turned into, well, what are we going to do next? So now they've decided to donate a parking lot every year. We just finished our second one for the Phillips programs in Annandale. That was a $230,000 donation. So very, very proud of that. And now, like I said, they've agreed to do a project every year. Next year, we're looking to possibly build a baseball field in Loudoun County for children. So we're excited, and I'm excited that that's something that's going to continue on beyond me. Also, one of the things I realized when, again, open your heart, open your ears, and you listen, most of the people that are getting assistance of some sort in this world could do better if they had a better paying job. The construction industry is filled with opportunity right now. We're so completely shorthanded on every level. So being a person that doesn't take no, and I just kept seeing this huge celestial picture that I just really needed to connect. I joined the board of the SkillSource Group as well as the Workforce Investment Board, and we just formed a partnership with Heavy Construction Contractors Association and had our first job fair in July. Our second job fair is scheduled for November, and we are putting people to work and changing lives, and not minimum wage jobs. These are meaningful careers where people can gain the self-respect and really surround themselves with these businesses that are like families, and I'm so excited to see where it's going to go, because I just don't know. And that's kind of the cool part, is I feel like I'm really just the conduit and the dot connector, and the plan is going to unfold, and every day it's like, wow, where's this going to go? So that's kind of an insight to what my life is like every day.
So we talked about your involvement in the community. So how has your involvement in these organizations kind of benefited their mission? Can you describe some specific impacts you've made on these organizations and how you've made them? I know you touched on it a little bit. But.
So my impact, I'm involved in several different organizations. I'm on the board of SkillSource. I'm on the board of Workforce Investment Board. I'm a member of Heavy Construction Contractors Association. I'm on the board of Langley Residential. I'm a member of 100 Women Who Care. I do Relay for Life. There's a few others. You will find that I'm a very enthusiastic participant, and then I start with my ideas. And there's always a committee that gets formed, and somehow I'm always chairing it, or I'm kind of a natural cheerleader. So I kind of go in with an open heart and open mind, and then dig in and see where I can help. But most of the people that will tell you that I'm at everything. I'm the one that's leading the charge. So certainly with HCCA, we formed a workforce development committee that's never been formed. And again, the partnership with SkillSource and the social outreach committee, which had never been formed. So again, and I'm hoping those things are going to continue long beyond my time. So.
What would you say is a favorite volunteer activity or moment that will always stick with you?
I think my favorite volunteer activity would have to be the job fairs, because the people that are coming, so all the people that come to the job fairs are getting assistance in some way. A lot of these people come through the door, they look so broken. And I greet every single person personally. I hug many of them, give them a big smile, look them right in the eye, and I state their name, and I say, I'm so happy that you are here. And I think sometimes that might be the first time somebody has done that to that person in a really long time, and I want them to know that they're a human being and we respect them and we want to help them. And so some of their faces, they are so completely surprised that someone is giving them respect and actually a true willingness to help them. So I think some of those faces I will never forget.
So tell me about the passion that you feel for your volunteer work, and how long have you been doing it?
Gosh, I've been involved informally in volunteer work a lot of my life. So I think even as a child I was aware of my community, maybe in the way that other children weren't. I spent a few years in foster care, So that kind of helped open my eyes to that everybody doesn't live the way that you do. And so I think I was always very empathetic to other people on a level that maybe people didn't understand. And so I think I always considered myself a helper and an organizer and a cheerleader, but probably Relay for Life. Catherine, my daughter, and I started that team, gosh, it's been 7 years ago now. And then I guess we sort of created a monster after that, because now it's, I spend a lot of time doing volunteer and charity work, so probably a majority of my time doing that. So,
how have your experiences shaped you as an individual?
My experiences have allowed me to be the person I always wanted to be and never knew how to be, and have shaped the lives of my children. They see a mom that's really involved in the community, and I've been dragging them to stuff with me since they could walk. So, in fact, I was laughing because one of the events I took my daughter to, I said, well, we're doing a bowling tournament, you know, can you come? Or actually it was, you will be here Sunday at 1 o'clock. So she showed up, and she was actually shocked that she got to bowl and that she didn't have to like set up the pins or actually do the whole thing. Because normally, you know, when mom's doing something, you just show up and you just, you know, help along. So it's made me a better person, a better mother. And like I said, I'm becoming the woman I always wanted to be.
What else, is there anything else that you'd like the selections committee to know about you or your volunteerism?
I guess what I would like the selection committee to know is that this is from the heart. This is who I am. I wake up every day with an open heart and an open mind, and I'm always going to do this because this is what I was meant to do. I do believe that everyone on this earth has a plan. You know, God has a plan for them, and I think really part of our human struggle is figuring out what is that plan and what's kind of my unique talent. And I believe that my ability to kind of see the big picture and connect the dots between people and organizations that never would have thought to kind of come out of their own little box and think about how they can help each other. And actually it's a win-win-win for everyone. So I'm going to continue my work, and I just feel really blessed to be nominated and excited to get to know you wonderful women. So thank you.
Awesome.
Was that okay? Gosh, I feel like I'm like dripping in sweat. So start.
Just talk about, if you could just talk about the construction organization. 300 men, they want to do something, they don't really know what to do or how to do it.
So I'm a proud member of HCCA, Heavy Construction Contractors Association. There's about 300 men and me. I showed up about 4 years ago with lots of energy and ideas. One of which was a toy drive we did for a homeless shelter in Manassas. We were able to provide Christmas toys for all of the children, and when our members showed up the morning we donated these toys, I think it had a real lasting impact on them. They saw that these women that were living here were people, and they all kept thinking, I hope this never happens to my daughter, or it really resonated with them. So now we do a Christmas drive every year, and they're actually asking me about it ahead of time. Who are we giving to this year? What do you need from me? I also do a personal Christmas drive for foster children. As I stated before, I'm a former foster child, and they are very dear to my heart. One of the things I can remember, when you're in foster care and people give you Christmas gifts, you often find that they think you should be really grateful for no matter what you get, because, well, gosh, you're a foster kid and you have nothing, and you should just be grateful. And And the social service workers I worked with out of Manassas they gave me a list. And at first she gave me 4 or 5, and it had very specific things on the list. And I said, okay, well, how many children do you have total? And she said, I have 17, and then 2 of their mothers that are actually still technically in foster care because they're so young. And I said, well, I will take all 19. So I said, I want a list specifically of what each person wants, because that's what they're going to get. And even the social worker said, well, 2 of the boys want these Nike tennis shoes that are like Air Jordans that were like $180. I'm like, I don't care. I'm getting them those shoes. Those might be the only thing that ever makes those kids feel normal and feel like they fit in. So I have an annual Christmas party every year with my girlfriends, and I put the word out. And of course they responded, and every child got every single thing they wanted on their list. My husband and I purchased Kindles for every child, and then I handmade each child something. So I've given away over 1,000 crocheted scarves in my life. I call it the hug I leave behind. So each child got a scarf, their moms got scarves. One little boy got a baseball that my father had actually caught at spring break in Florida. He said he was really a big baseball fan, and I wrote him a letter to him from my father and said, this baseball's from your grandpa Sonny. And I know that you don't have a grandpa Sonny, but you do now. So it was really, I never met any of those children. All I was given was their initials and their ages. And you know, I remember every single one, and I don't think I'll ever forget them. And now my Christmas party's in December every year, and my friends are already asking me, who do we have this year? Who are our kids? So that's really exciting to me. So I can't wait to find out who our kids are this year. So thank you. Oh my gosh.